We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I was thinking to myself, how do I make it sound like I'm having sound issues to start off the show just to mess with the boss? And then I decided to get it. Oh, there you go.
Maybe perfect. Pushing it.
Yeah, just start muting my mic. Yeah, we're here in the studio. Don't worry.
In the studio at home.
Yeah, no. We're not in the home studio. We are gonna try the home studio again tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
You ready for that?
I have content prepared.
Okay, do you?
Maybe.
You got some elevator
Superman
hold
hour.
music. Yeah.
Superman hour until Chris gets in.
Perfect.
It's gonna be perfect.
Perfect. It's gonna be awesome. So thank you guys for dealing with the technical difficulties yesterday. Thank you for joining us again today. Even after those technical difficulties, we got a lot to get to today on the show, and we're excited to have you here with us. You can listen to us anywhere on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial. You can watch us on Super Talk TV. The best spots for that: YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. Shout out to everybody in the YouTube chat already jumping over in the YouTube chat. You see that? They're starting to sing the new intro that I got on YouTube.
Dude, I'm excited.
They're singing it in the comments. Did you notice that?
It's so good.
It's hype. People are hype. People are excited. Today marks the 4th anniversary of the AbbeyGate bombing. This is a dark day in American history, and there's a reason we highlight it, because we've come a long way. We have rid ourselves of failed leadership in so many ways. Is the leader that we have in the office now perfect? No, and nobody's going to claim that. In fact, there's only been one perfect guy to walk on the earth. Wasn't orange. Turns out he was just a Jewish rabbi. His name was Jesus Christ. Maybe you've heard of him. Other than that, nobody's going to be perfect. But the improvement that we've made from Joe Biden to Donald Trump is massive. And yesterday, Donald Trump commemorated the 4th anniversary of the AbbeyGate bombing yesterday in the White House with a proclamation declaring this day today. This was Donald Trump yesterday inside the Oval Office.
Done and completed. Okay. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. We rate them.
So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that in the video, he's surrounded by the families of many of the 13 U.S. service members that were killed in the bombing. They joined Trump for the signing, standing behind him as he sat at the Resolute desk, reports Breitbart. He was also flanked by J.D. Vance and Secretary Pete Hegseth. And the proclamation officially proclaims August 26, 2025, as a day in commemoration of the 4th anniversary of the attack at AbbeyGate. In the proclamation's text, it says, On one of the darkest days in our nation's history, 4 years ago, the gates of hell sprung open. I mean, where's the lie? The gates of hell sprung open when an evil jihadi terrorist carried out a suicide bombing in Kabul, Afghanistan, killing 13 of our heroes. United States, our nation, remembers this atrocious attack. We honor the memory of every brave warrior who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. We join in grief with the families who senselessly lost a loved one. And we renew our solemn pledge to our 13 fallen patriots. We will never forget you. We will never forsake you, and your memory will live on forever. This is a really important point. Don't forget how far we've come. Under Joe Biden, this country was in the gutter. Our servicemen and women were treated horribly. This attack could have been prevented, but we had failed leadership in the White House. Donald Trump isn't going to forget it, saying, with the people around him, very special group of people. They spent a lot of time with the families in attendance. And while they're there, J.D. Vance said a few words as well. Just, again, honoring those families, honoring their loved ones and the sacrifice that they made.
Sir, I just echo what you said. We're so honored to have all of you here. I know that days like today can't make the hurt go away, but hopefully 4 years on, we can start to remember with fondness and with a little bit of joy the people that were taken from us. We're so proud of you. We're so proud of your loved ones for giving their life for our country. And I think importantly today, this is a rectification of a wrong. The fact that the President of the United States lost your loved ones through incompetence but never acknowledged it, and your government never actually put pen to paper to say, we're grateful for your sacrifice, we correct that wrong today, and we're going to keep on fighting to understand, as Pete said, what happened so it never happens to another family again. But God love you all, God bless you. We're so thrilled to have you here in the People's Oval Office.
Yeah, I mean, never forget that the last administration didn't acknowledge us at all. In fact, Joe Biden, when the caskets were being returned, checked his watch. Last summer, the mainstream media didn't want to acknowledge this at all. Last summer, when the RNC was happening, MSNBC refused to cover that portion of the RNC when they were honoring the AbbeyGate dead and the families. Nicole Wallace wanted to talk about the fate of Joe Biden on MSNBC. Never forget that we dodged another bullet in Kamala Harris, who bragged that she was the last person in the room during the decision-making process on Afghanistan and the withdrawal.
You just made a really big decision. Afghanistan.
Yes.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
And you feel comfortable?
I do. And I'm going to add to that. This is a president who has an extraordinary amount of courage.
Stunning and brave. This is the state of the Democrat Party. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, while at that proclamation signing, said that there will be a thorough investigation into what happened at AbbeyGate and that the investigation is ongoing. They're in the process of a review. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth.
Getting access to all the documents necessary, why decisions were made, why they weren't made, why certain force protection measures were ignored. Again, there's never been accountability for this.
Nope.
It's something that Joe Biden allowed to happen that never should have happened. Any objective observer knows that's not how you leave a country, and certainly these families know better than anyone else. These families deserve answers. We're going to be honest about it. We're going to get to the bottom of it. Sean Parnell, an Afghanistan vet, is leading it, and we're doing it on behalf of the American people. So I would anticipate middle of 2026. That's how thorough of a review we're doing. Hopefully a little bit sooner, but we're going into everything to get an understanding of what happened.
So the review's ongoing. Maybe we'll see something in the middle of 2026. That does seem like a bit far out. Hegseth saying we're going into everything. So we'll wait and see on that. At the very least, this administration is not forgetting the sacrifice that was made. And it seems like the Democrat Party is going the exact opposite way. They don't want to talk about this at all. You're not going to hear any Democrats mentioning AbbeyGate today. Make no mistake about that. And the Democrats are fully encompassed in their deep embrace of illegal aliens and criminals currently. That's where their focus is. While Donald Trump's is on the American people, the Democrats are focused on, protecting criminals. Yep. The current state of the Democrat Party couldn't be any worse. Stephen Miller last night on Fox News, he was on with Hannity. He broke down exactly what we're seeing from the current state of the Democrat Party. And honestly, how sad it is. This Democrat Party doesn't look anything like our parents' Democrat Party. It certainly does not. Stephen Miller, last night on Fox News.
Look, we discussed this last time I was on your show. The Democrat Party does not fight for, care about, or represent American citizens. It is an entity devoted exclusively to the defense of hardened criminals, gangbangers, and illegal alien killers and terrorists.
Where's the lie? And present me with an argument if you happen to be a liberal, a progressive, a Democrat, a vote blue no matter who, and you're in the audience, bring me a counterpoint. 615-737-9986. Bring me a counterpoint to Stephen Miller's statement. I think you're going to have a hard time making that argument.
The Democrat Party is not a political party. It is a domestic extremist organization. Look at Chicago. They've shut down the police department. They've handcuffed law enforcement. And as President Trump says, they have turned the streets of Chicago into a bloody killing field. Here in Washington, D.C., before President Trump launched the federal law enforcement liberation in D.C., there was a murder on the streets of this town every other day. Body after body after body after body. That was Washington, D.C. Residents were afraid to go to restaurants. They were afraid to go into entire neighborhoods.
Yep.
They were getting carjacked right and left, robbed and beaten. That was Washington, D.C. Now we're 2 weeks homicide free, the safest the city has ever been in its entire history.
Now, the crazy thing about this is when he's describing what Washington, D.C. was like before the intervention of Trump, you could swap out D.C. for Chicago currently. And the residents of Chicago are making that argument. We'll bring you some of the audio from the residents of Chicago here momentarily. But you can make that argument. And the Democrats are arguing for less safe streets. This is really an unforced error by the Democrat Party. This embrace of protecting criminals it's really weird, and it's not a good look, but don't interrupt your enemies while they're making mistakes. Stephen Miller continues.
And the Democrats, instead of jumping up and down and saying, thank you, President Trump, thank you for saving our lives, thank you for saving our cities, thank you for scrubbing away all the graffiti, the trash, the homeless encampments, the druggies. Instead of cleaning up the city, instead of thanking him for that, they're saying, President Trump, how dare you save our lives? How dare you save our children? How dare you save our city?
I mean, where's the lie? He's absolutely right. And you have Democrats tripping over themselves in Chicago, Illinois, to find a podium to talk crap about Donald Trump. Please don't come and save our city, sir. Please don't. J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, who was kicked out of the family business, failed upwards like many Democrats do and became governor of Illinois. J.B. Pritzker, he was outside in Illinois yesterday, again, railing against the president when he should be begging him for his help. He's fuming over Donald Trump wanting to send the National Guard into D.C. Listen to this.
Finally, to the Trump administration officials who are complicit in this scheme, to the public servants who have forsaken their oath to the Constitution to serve the petty whims of an arrogant little man, to any federal official who would come to Chicago and try to incite my people into violence as a pretext for something darker and more dangerous, we are watching. And we are taking names.
Oh, is that a threat, big man? Is that a threat? You're now threatening anybody who wants to make the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, safer. Got it. And fun fact, Republicans don't need to incite any violence in Chicago. Spoiler alert, the violence is already there. The violence is already there, man. We don't have to do anything. If Republicans didn't care about Chicago, if the president didn't care about Chicago, you know what they would do? They'd leave it alone, much like the Democrats have done for years and years and years. The citizens know what time it is in Chicago. The elected leadership doesn't. They have no idea. Now, one of the things from that J.B. Pritzker speech grandstand that he did yesterday, which was pretty funny, and you'll get an added bonus if you're watching on the YouTube stream or on the Rumble stream, because the video element really adds something to this. J.B. Pritzker is going viral for this statement he made where he says Donald Trump is living rent-free. He's living rent-free in Donald Trump's head. But if you watch the video, as he says that, they pan to the left and they realize he's giving this speech right in front of Trump Tower in Chicago.
We're very pleased about the progress that we're making. I know that I live rent-free in the president's head, and I wish he would spend some time in Chicago so that he could see what a lovely city we have. Governor, quick follow-up. What do you do if
I wish he would spend some time here so he could see what a lovely city we have. Then it pans over to the Trump Tower. We might need the Curb Your Enthusiasm music on the board because I feel like that would have fit right there so well.
Perfect.
Wouldn't it have fit? It would have just been perfect.
I'm getting on that.
All right, thank you, Mason. Thank you. It's not just J.B. Pritzker. Mayor Brandon Johnson has been doing his best to put his foot in his mouth as well. I'm going to bring you all those comments on the way, plus what the Chicago residents are saying about the city that they live in. Fun fact, it's a lot different than what the elected leadership is saying. And when you dig into the stats a little bit, it's hard not to feel for the citizens of Chicago. I'll break it down for you on the way. There's a lot to get to. It's 9:21. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. Shane is a great guy. He's a dad, too, so he'll get this. It's back to school season. But you don't want your health insurance to feel like a math test. We got enough of those right now. Confusing percentages, surprise bills, fine print that bites back. That's not something we're a fan of over here. So let's make it simple, and Cover Nash can do that for you. They have a brand new nationwide PPO plan that will give you the freedom to pick your own doctors anywhere in the U.S. with no referrals and no red tape. Listen to this, just a $250 deductible, a flat $50 copay for any doctors, even specialists. Outpatient surgeries, $250 copay. Hospital stays, just $1,000 total. Free preventative care, colonoscopies, mammograms, the works because it's ACA compliant. Now here's the kicker, no surprise bills, no hidden fees, just real protection from real providers. And if that's not the perfect fit, Cover Nash is working with 75 top-rated insurance companies, so they'll find something that works for your budget and your needs. All you got to do is give them a call today. 615-465-0023, 615-465-0023. Talk to Shane Ring at Cover Nash today or find them online, covernash.com. Are Democrats waking up to the fact that 80-20 issues aren't exactly a good look to defend?
To the average person, the murder up's about life and death. You don't brag about a rising murder rate. And the Democrats are, I agree with you, Mika, they're falling into the trap of defending what's indefensible.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Yes, it's a trap. I mean, if it's not a winner politically.
I mean, I think she's right. It is a bit of a trap to root for these 80-20 issues, men and women's sports, boys in girls' locker rooms.
No, that's not 80-20. That's 97-3.
Fair. That's 97-3. But we also have illegal alien gang member, MS-13 members, Kilmar. Democrats defend him. We've seen Democrats rooting for a recession. All these 80-20 issues, and this is what made the Democrats realize it? How long until they forget again? Few hours, tops.
Coming up, we've got a couple of 8th graders who were arrested yesterday. We'll tell you why. And the so-called ringleader of the viral Cincinnati beatdown, he is facing some new charges. That and more coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That doesn't happen to be the same guy whose grandmother went on TV news to say he was a good boy and he's got 5 kids. And
That's the one.
That's the one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's what he, has to do for a living to pay for those 5 kids. It's got him in trouble.
Funny how that stuff works out.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I thought he was... No. There it is.
The clown show.
There it is. Yeah, that's going to be a good addition to the Hop Jockey board, Mason. That is going to be a good addition.
Oh, I love it.
It really is nice.
Can you play it when I do the story, too?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, good.
I'm trying to find that audio from the grandmother in the Cincinnati beating.
Oh, that would be great to play, yes.
Because, I mean, she literally went on the news and was like, he's a good boy. He didn't do anything wrong. And somebody else must have made him do that.
It had to be somebody else.
Oh, I'm going to find that. I'll have that after Jones's newscast. I got it in my notes somewhere. I just got to remember.
I can find it while I'm waiting.
What day and all the things.
Yeah.
I have to, and I will. In the meantime, Mayor Brandon Johnson wants you to know that the killing fields that Donald Trump is talking about, those are a hoax. Got it. Now I'll say this when he's lying. Mayor Brandon Johnson is lying. You Google Chicago any Monday morning and find out what happened over the weekend. Donald Trump is right. It's killing fields in some of these neighborhoods.
The president obviously has a long history of attacking your city. Today he referred to it as a killing field. What's your message to the president now that Chicago has been singled out as the next potential target for this kind of action?
Well, first of all, what the president is proposing is a military occupation of the city of Chicago and cities across America. Our city is not calling for that. In fact, I don't know of any cities in America that are calling for federal troops to occupy their cities.
I mean, yeah, the elected leadership's not calling for that, but the citizens most certainly are, and there is a bunch of audio and video to support those claims. But Chicago residents are terrified of what's happening in their cities. Donald Trump is not making it up. This is what people on the ground are saying.
Our children can't walk around the community without fear of being hurt or kidnapped or having a drive-by. So it's what these numbers that they're expressing, we don't feel it in our quality of life.
Our children can't walk around these streets, can't walk around the community without fear of being hurt, kidnapped, in a drive-by. That's the temperature on the ground with the citizens. And Chicago should be begging Donald Trump for their help. Because currently, right now, Chicago has the most youth homicide. Homicides when the victim is 19 or under. Chicago beats all the competition. I did some research last night. I'll break down the numbers for you on the other side. A lot to get to. Hang out with us. 9:30, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 9:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And for drivers in Old Hickory Boulevard, it's right near Golf Club Road. That's causing some big delays this morning. In Nashville, an 8th grader has been arrested for a picture that he sent to his classmates on Sunday. Here's News Channel 4's Lydia Fielder.
School at Meigs Middle. That student then sent a text saying, quote, perfect for school shooters, along with that photo of the shotgun. He was arrested last night. Now, this is a reminder that these threats are taken very seriously, and police say you will be prosecuted if you make one.
And another 8th grader allegedly wrote in that same text thread that he would shoot another student's home and school, and posted that along with a photo of a handgun. Well, that second student also has been charged with making a threat of mass violence. 2 more suspects connected to a shooting in July have now been arrested. One of them was arrested after a multi-vehicle crash on I-24 in Robertson County last night. That driver, James Redmond, ran off into the woods, but a police officer and his canine dog brought Redmond down. Now, the other suspect is 24-year-old Keelan Williams. He was arrested along Rosa Parks Boulevard yesterday. Here's News 2's Elisheva Wemberly.
Metro Police tell us both Raymond and the other suspect were wanted in connection with the July shooting on I-40 in Hermitage. The victim was at a sports bar when he found out someone was breaking into his car. He tried to chase the victims down and was shot on an interstate entrance ramp. Now, Metro Police arrested Hannah Craig and Jonathan Brewington for the shooting at the beginning of this month, and both are charged with criminal homicide.
The 2 that were arrested yesterday are believed to be the shooters. And there's more trouble for Jermaine Matthews. He's the man that prosecutors described as the one who started the viral beatdown in Cincinnati last month. Matthews has just been indicted on federal drug charges for conspiring to distribute 40 grams of fentanyl. That's the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
You know, we're talking about a lot about big crime in big cities where you don't exactly have the Second Amendment rights that you have here in Tennessee. You need to exercise those rights. You need to practice. You need to train. You need to do it at the Glock store. That's where I do all of my training. And if you want your Glock to shoot flatter with less recoil, then you got to check out the new C-Cuts at the Glock store. It's Chris Hand for my friends at the Glock store. C-Cuts, you might be wondering what those are. I was in the same boat just a couple weeks back, but it's short for compensator cuts. These are precision slots in your barrel and slide that push that blast upward in a V shape, cutting muzzle flip and letting you get back on target fast. Now, they used to only be on the high-end Gen 3 compensated Glocks, but now the Glock store can do it to your Glock in 10 days or less. Don't take my word for it, though. Buy a sample bullet pack for just $6.99 and try it before you buy it. Shoot a C-Cut, Glock 17, 19, or my favorite, the 43X. That 43X of the C-Cut, simply amazing. Bring your Glock or just the barrel and slide and start those 10 days today. That's the Glock store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, and always open online. Glockstore.com. So Trump announced today he's federalizing D.C. police to put an end to violent crime in Washington, D.C. Naturally, leftists are losing their mind and completely unhinged.
We believe there is a better way to protect us all. One that respects rights to build trust and keep our communities truly safe, and that is fascism-free.
Free of what?
That is fascism-free.
Fascism-free? Fascism-free. Oh, okay, hang on one second. Hey, Brooks, come here. F-A-S-C-I-S-M.
Fascism?
Correct, fascism. I didn't mean to turn this into an ad for homeschooling versus public schooling, yet here we are.
Maybe she should have proofread that.
937 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. How you doing? Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can find us on any platform, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can listen to us, or watch us, on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. So I do want to clean something up. I said before the newscast, I said, was that the guy in Cincinnati whose grandmother was on the news?
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, man.
That was Clarissa Merriweather, who was Merriweather's mother, not his grandmother.
I see.
But she had that argument. He was a good boy.
And on the video, he said, you want to mess with these Russians? And he smacked the first guy, But it wasn't like they thugs. My child is in school. He had 5 kids. He's on the B honor roll in school. And he's not the thug that they put out in there to be.
I'd like to take issue with the B honor roll thing.
Isn't
honor roll like A?
I think they're doing it on a curve now, John.
Oh, I gotcha. I see.
We'll see. I think it all depends. That music is coming in handy.
Yep.
It's coming in good. All right. Thank you, Mason. I'm here for it. Mason's crushing. All right. A lot of people want to talk about Chicago. I want to talk about Chicago, too. So I played this clip before we got into the newscast where there's a gentleman in Chicago who's pushing back on all of the talking points from all of the Chicago leadership, because the Chicago leadership is saying, no, things are fine and we don't need Donald Trump's help. But the residents are saying, actually, my kids, I don't want them walking in the community because, I'm worried about things like, oh, gee whiz, getting kidnapped, being caught in a drive-by. And I'm sorry, no American parents should have to fear this for their children, regardless of neighborhood, community, skin color. We can do so much better than that in this country, but this is the reality of so many on the ground.
Our children can't walk around the community without fear of being hurt or kidnapped or having a drive-by. So it's what these numbers that they're expressing, we don't feel it in our quality of life.
No, they don't feel it in the quality of life. I mean, how can you feel it? How can you feel it if you're worried about your kids going for a walk? So I dug into some of the numbers. And using a bunch of different sources, local government sources, LA Sheriff's Department, Philadelphia Police Department, Metro Police DC numbers, Chicago currently, and I guess it depends on what numbers you believe, because there's talks about investigating the numbers of DC and that they've really been cooking the books. But if you believe the numbers that are on record, Chicago has the highest share of homicide victims under 18. The highest. 12% of their homicides are victims under 18. 12%. To put that into perspective, Washington, D.C. came in at 8.4% of their homicides under 18. Memphis, 2.5%. That's how bad it is in Chicago for the young kids. But the local leadership says, no. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. That's what they say over and over again. And we can't have Donald Trump in here because he's clearly a tyrant and he's trying to be a dictator and he's trying to militarize our streets. That's not the reality of what's going on. Donald Trump wants the killing fields to stop. One Chicago resident went off on Laura Ingram's show last night, sounding the alarm. Her name is Danielle Carter Williams, and she is not a fan of Mayor Brandon Johnson or Governor J.B. Pritzker.
We are not thinking about Pritzker or Brandon Johnson. We just had 4 mass shootings in the span of 1 month. 14 people got shot and 4 dead. We just had senior citizens laying shot, bleeding in the streets.
Yep.
And let's not forget the gentleman who we saw, who was on Facebook Live, get robbed and shot while he was sitting in his car. So we don't care about anything these people are saying. Tell Brandon Johnson and Pritzker, if Chicago is so safe, with Brandon Johnson especially, Let's leave his 150 police detail. Fire them and walk around with no police detail. In Brisker, no security. Come in my community, the south side of Chicago. Come over there and let's see you say how safe it is. You can't even sit in your car long. If you sit in your car, you know that it's a chance you're going to get carjacked, robbed, or shot.
Oh, that's the city of Chicago. The one that Democratic leadership tells you needs no help. The one who's been a war zone since I was a kid. It's fine. It's totally fine. Donald Trump is orange and evil and a tyrant. Got it. Hey, Sean from Mount Juliet, he's actually a retired Chicago police officer. He calls in from time to time. And I love getting your angle on these things, Sean, given your expertise. Tell me the truth about Chicago. Is it as bad as we think it is, or do we need to start giving the Democrats some more credit? It's totally safe.
Chris, there's a reason why the FBI does not use cities like Chicago in their crime stats report. They know the numbers are complete BS from Jump Street. Look at Washington, D.C. and the number scandal that came up just recently with the president sending the military and the National Guard in. It's complete fabrication. It's complete suppression. They'll take an incident of a robbery and they'll reclassify it to a theft, and the numbers are scrubbed by City Hall before they get released. I feel for the people in the West Side, in the South Side, and that's, to give you again even a further reference, that's where I worked my entire career. I worked gangs on the West Side and South Side of Chicago, and we had with the adults and the true victims in those communities, they were happy to see us every day.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
because if you guys are on the block, then nobody's going to be shooting.
Right, exactly. I sent you a message on Instagram, but we have a website, and I can't remember if I sent it to you before, and it tracks all the numbers. And just based off the numbers that the city's releasing, we have somebody shot, I think God, I'm gone now, but they have somebody shot every 4 hours and 32 minutes. They have somebody killed every 20 hours.
It's insane.
So the numbers are just horrific. I mean, I still hold the record as a lieutenant retiring from there with the most people shot in the shortest amount of time, and it's not a record I wanted.
No.
But that's what we had to deal with, and I had 19 people shot in an hour and 12 minutes in 5 different scenes.
It's insane. So the website that you had sent me is called heyjackass.com, and that's actually where I compiled a lot of my stats from on the youth homicide in Chicago. Can you tell me what that's like when you respond to a scene and it's been a 14-year-old who's been shot?
The involvement of the teenagers and the young people, I mean, and again, it's nationwide. Most large cities, the juveniles are getting slaps on the wrist, so the hierarchy or the leadership of the gangs are having them gunned up. They're the ones with the dope because
you get charged as a minor. Yeah, exactly. They're getting charged as a minor unless they reach a certain threshold, or and at times it's like doing a Sudoku puzzle trying to figure out if you can charge them as adults. Well, and it's and a lot of these gang members, they know the law better than your average public defender.
Oh God, yeah. And, like in Brandon Johnson, I mean, I think the last time I talked to you, I said I would take Rich Daley back before any of the ones that succeeded him.
Yep.
But Brandon Johnson was the one that did away with the shot spotter technology because it was racist, because it was in the brown and black communities. Well, that's where the gangs were. That's where the violence was.
And you know who that protects? It protects the brown and black communities.
Chris, I can't tell you the number of citizens that have been saved by Chicago police officers because the shot spotter system would go off. We would be on scene finding victims before the first 911 call came in. And, I worked in the Ogden district on the west side where, not Stroger Hospital, Mount Sinai Hospital, one of our trauma hospitals was. And I've seen them bring people back to life that were dead because of the shot spotter technology, be able to get them to the hospital that much quicker and these would have been added homicides to the numbers.
Yeah, and they'll scream, "That's racist! How dare you!"
Right, exactly.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Hey, as always, I appreciate your perspective and your insight on this stuff, especially when it comes to Chicago. Thanks so much, Sean.
Take care, bud.
Hey, appreciate you. But, you can hear from a guy like Sean, who's been on the streets and in the weeds, and he'll tell you the honest truth. Or you could listen to CNN. And CNN had their fact checker on last night. What was his name? Daniel Dale. Daniel gets on CNN, and he says, well, it's actually subjective if big blue city, if blue city governments in red states are to blame for the crime. Yeah, it's subjective.
Cities in red states because the governor is so essential when it comes to activating National Guard. And the highest crime, blue cities are actually in red states, and those are not among the ones on his apparent target list, it appears. Can you talk a little bit about what you heard him asked and what he answered there?
Yeah, I think you did a great fact check there yourself. So there are indeed a bunch of cities in red states that are high on national crime rate lists, however you slice the data. And the president likes to blame the Democratic mayors of those cities. That's his right. But just looking at the facts, cities like Memphis, Tennessee, Cleveland, Ohio, Kansas City, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, Houston, Texas, all among the 10 or 15 cities with the highest violent crime rates, all in red states with Republican governors. So who's to blame for that? I think that's subjective and complicated, but it's just not true that there aren't many cities in red states that are.
Who's to blame? It's subjective. It's subjective. You can't blame Democrats. No. It's too subjective. I mean, the Democrats are doing everything they can, tripping over themselves to call Donald Trump a dictator and defend criminals. Harry Enton on CNN talking about how bad the Democrat brand is currently.
Look, the Democratic brand right now has about the appeal with the American voter as the Cracker Barrel rebrand has with the American consumers. Bad, bad, bad.
All right, you know what that needs? That needs some curb music.
Look, the Democratic brand right now has about the appeal with the American voter as the Cracker Barrel rebrand has with the American consumers. Bad, bad, bad.
Yep. Yeah. That music is hitting today. Whew. That's the state of the Democrat Party. That's the reality. Not all mainstream media is covering this up and looking the other way. Granted, you're gonna have your big guys, your CNN, your MSNBC saying all sorts of things, but NBC actually, surprisingly, yesterday telling some truth about Chicago.
So far this year, the city is still averaging over 1 killing a day. Just this weekend, there were 3 homicides and 27 people were shot.
We still have a problem. We have a problem with illegal guns. We have a high murder rate. We need help with that.
But not Donald Trump's help, because Donald Trump is an evil, racist, tyrant dictator. Got it? Okay. Just making sure everybody's keeping score at home. It gets confusing. We need help, not your help, you bigot. Okay. Got it. How does this make any sense? Tim in Bellevue, can you make this make sense?
I don't know if I can make it make sense, but how are you doing today, Chris?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Beautiful day out. Get to work from home. But yeah, I wanted to comment on the Chicago issue. I had a buddy just recently go up there on a college trip with some friends. I think we're at a place called Old Town, which I think is like a historical district known for artwork and has like a really nice night scene. But him and all of his buddies ended up getting robbed while they were away on their weekend trip.
It's insane.
My girlfriend she used to live in Wisconsin before she moved down here just a few months ago. But we would avoid Chicago, downtown Chicago, whenever we're passing through, just because we don't want to get into any issues. She wouldn't go. She had friends that would stay in Chicago that she wouldn't visit because she was afraid of something happening because it's so dangerous down there. And we're not even Chicago residents, and we know about how bad things are in Chicago. And I think it's sad that mayor is, or the mayor, governor, whoever that gentleman was that was speaking.
Both. It's the mayor and the governor.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I think it's sad that they're wanting to push back on Trump sending troops in. And I mean, it makes sense a little bit because I mean, they don't want to give up power. They don't want to look bad. But you know what? They're not fixing the problem. And so, You know what? Trump's coming in to do that.
Yeah. Exactly. Hey, I appreciate the call, Tim. Tim saying, I'm not even from Chicago, and I know that. Well, listen to the locals, how they describe downtown Chicago.
We have a rule, like on weekends, we don't walk here. We'll just, like if we go, we'll go to West Loop or whatever, we'll Uber, and then we'll Uber home. We have a rule.
That's a good rule. We don't walk. Can you imagine? I don't know. We've my daughter's really into like theater, and we've talked about it before. She does plays, and my wife's like, I'd love to take her to New York and go to Broadway. I'm like, nope, we're not doing that. Are your travel plans changing because of big blue city crime? Does anybody look at Chicago as an attractive destination right now? Honestly, I don't. Maybe it's just me. 615-737-9986. We'll take more of your calls on the way. Plus, we'll hear from more of the residents of Chicago. We've heard from the leadership, but let's hear from the residents on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So Trump announced today he's federalizing D.C. police to put an end to violent crime in Washington, D.C. Naturally, leftists are losing their mind and completely unhinged.
We believe there is a better way to protect us all. One that respects rights to build trust and keep our communities truly safe, and that is fascism free.
Free of what?
That is fascism free.
Fascism free? Fascism free. Oh, okay, hang on one second. Hey, Brooks, come here. F-A-S-C-I-S-M.
Fascism?
Correct, fascism. I didn't mean to turn this into an ad for homeschooling versus public schooling, yet here we are.
Maybe she should have proofread that.
President Trump has said this one a lot.
You're fired.
Yeah, you're fired. Now he's saying it to a Federal Reserve governor. And a couple of Tennessee gun laws have been struck down. That and more coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. It is 9:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Yesterday, Donald Trump sat down with the South Korean president, and the reporters were like, hey, we got the South Korean president here. That's fine. That's fine. But we have other questions that we need to ask you, sir. Donald Trump never backs down from a question, and he was asked whether he would consider sending the National Guard into Chicago, which has been the topic of conversation. This is Donald Trump yesterday.
Mr. President, on the National Guard, you've talked a lot about Democratic-run cities and states. Yeah. Would you also consider sending the National Guard into red states and red cities that are also seeing high crime?
Sure, but there aren't that many of them. If you look at the top 25 cities that for crime, just about every one of those cities is run by Democrats. And you know, one of the bad things they did, cashless bail, if you look back on time, when they allowed a murderer out that afternoon, you know, he'd kill somebody and then a couple of hours later he's walking the streets again, oftentimes killing again rapidly. Cashless bail is a disaster. You saw we had a news conference today on that. We're wiping it out in D.C., immediately wiping it out. It started in New York, I must tell you, and it's been a horrible thing for crime, especially violent crime.
He's absolutely right, and we've seen that movie play out time and time again. And you wonder why these cities, why these states implement these policies. Stephen Miller had an idea last night on Fox.
I would say to the mayor of all these Democrat cities, like Chicago, what you are doing to your own citizens is evil. Subjecting your own citizens to this constant bloodbath and then rejoicing in it is evil. And you should praise God every single day that President Trump is in the White House.
I do. And I think the residents of Chicago, the citizens of Chicago, are looking forward to Donald Trump and his administration intervening. We'll hear from some of those residents on the way. Plus, I do have some audio from that meeting between the South Korean president and Donald Trump. We got some updates on immigration. Canadian truckers, Are Canadian truckers going to be an issue now, too? They might be. We'll talk about it on the way. It's 10 o'clock. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and there is a crash this morning. In fact, it's a stalled-out truck. It's on 65 in the southbound lanes at Trinity Lane, exit 87. The right lane is blocked off by that stalled-out tractor-trailer. Care for their drivers. In the news, President Trump fired Lisa Cook last night. She's the Federal Reserve governor at the center of a mortgage scam investigation.
Trump saying there was, quote-unquote, sufficient evidence that Cook made false statements on mortgage records after accusations from officials inside his administration and a referral to the Department of Justice. The DOJ's investigation has not yet been concluded. Cook has said these allegations date back to records from before she joined the Fed and that she was compiling information to address any quote-unquote legitimate questions with facts. She could still challenge the firing in court. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
The Federal Reserve Act confirms that governors can be removed by the president for cause. Here in Tennessee, a couple of firearms laws were struck down as unconstitutional by a panel of judges. One of those laws made it illegal to carry a gun in public parks. That one got mixed reaction from people who spoke to Channel 4.
It's still danger out here, so you can't just not go around without having a weapon because stuff can happen at any given moment. But at a park or small events like that, I think guns should not be allowed at all.
I see no problem with you being able to protect and defend your family, your property, your space.
The other law struck down is one that makes it illegal to carry a weapon with the intent to use it for self-defense, to threaten others, even if the weapon is carried legally. The state has 30 days now to appeal this court ruling. In Perry County, a 17-year-old high school senior died in a car crash early Sunday morning. Everett Bates' mother tells Channel 4 the crash occurred when he was on his way to pick up his girlfriend for church.
Every single thing that he did to the extreme. And even when we begged him not to, we were terrified, you know, at the same time as encouraging and wanting him to do those things that he wanted to do. But we never imagined that on his drive to church, that would be it.
Lewis County High School held a balloon release and is honored last night. And a lottery player in Maryland hit the jackpot, winning $200,000 on a Pick 5 game. He tells the Associated Press that he chose those 5 numbers based on a license plate that he saw on a truck in front of him while he was stopped at a red light. So maybe we could use that strategy for the Powerball lottery tonight. There was no winner last night, so the jackpot is now upwards of $815 million. That is the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Shout out to everybody texting into the show, calling into the show, 615-737-9986. Thank you to everybody listening. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial, or watching us, YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, all the things. Got a lot of kids I need to feed. Your likes, your subscribes. That's food in their mouth, so I appreciate it when you do so. There's a bunch of stuff to get to. We've been talking about Chicago. It's a mess. It's a mess. And it seems like everybody on the ground there understands exactly what time it is, but the leadership just doesn't seem to catch on. Weird. I don't understand how a lot of these residents can continue voting Democrat in these cities. I'm honestly not sure how you can continue voting Democrat in general, just with the current state of Democrat-run cities and states. I mentioned before the break, Would you change your vacation plans? Do you change your plans? I wanted to go to New York, maybe take the daughter to Broadway, but it's like, I don't want to do that. It's a mess. And I get a flood of text messages, individuals like, nah, yeah, we're canceling all the plans to Chicago. I had one guy say, I want to take my mom to the UK. She's 78, but I'm canceling that trip because it's a mess over there. We're planning on going to D.C. for the 250th, though. It's like, yeah, that should be nice by then. Should be. But a lot of these American cities are an absolute mess. The leadership just turns a blind eye. The locals, they understand exactly what's going on. Donald Trump said Chicago desperately needs help. Desperately. And I think he's right. But he said, just look at the stats. Like, you don't have to even listen to him. Just look at the numbers. But they'll call the numbers racist, too, I'm sure.
You're requesting us to be there. And the governor of Illinois should be. Chicago's a disaster. And the governor of Illinois should say, President, would you do us the honor of cleaning up our city? We need help. They need help. They need help.
They do. They need help. That's what he says. They need help. Now, that's the reality of the situation, and that's what you're getting from this Republican Party is, the truth, just an honest reality. Sometimes it's a little brutal, but that's just the truth. Chicago's a mess. When you look at the Democrat Party, well, you're not getting that at all. You're getting gaslit and just lied to. It was at the DNC meetings. They had the DNC summer meetings a couple days ago, and during a presentation on crime during the DNC's meetings, there's a lady from a left-wing think tank, the Vera Institute, and she said that actually, if you're an American, you're not worried about crime, migrant crime, carjackings, things like that in America.
Issues voters care about. Where does Trump go? Migrant crime, carjackings, the really lurid, awful stuff that is a crazy, crazy visual. Don't take the bait, because most Americans are more worried about how are we going to address mental health issues, the visible homelessness that we see on streets, and how do we deal with mental health and other issues that drive the sort of random incidents that scare all of us.
Oh, weird. Actually, fun fact, Donald Trump cleaned up the homeless in D.C. Go to rehab or go to jail. It's honestly the best option. Force the bottom for those drug addicts. That's what you have to do. Force rock bottom. Make your choice. And I would disagree. A lot of people worry about migrant crime. I mean, ask the family of Lake and Riley, Jocelyn Nungary, Rachel Marin. 5 kids, Rachel Marin, they don't get to see their mom anymore. I think Americans do care about migrant crime, actually. I think Donald Trump won the election based on the promise to secure the southern border, which, fun fact, he has.
That's what you should be talking about. That's where you should be focused. Don't take the bait in talking about migrant crime or carjackings or the things that actually don't matter to that many Americans.
No. Those things matter to you as an American citizen. Are you worried about being carjacked in some of these big, blue, dangerous cities? Again, does it change your plans? Does it change your plans? It changes mine. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to take my kids down to Memphis and walk around. Are you? Are you? Americans don't care about that. That's the Democrat Party. I don't want to overplay it already, but I'm sure we could do the Curb Your Enthusiasm music for that lady as well. But we would just burn the brakes on that thing. All right. But the residents of Chicago do care about that. Cue up a nearby store manager after yet another Chicago Foot Locker has been looted by a mob of youth. Let's hear from the locals. Let's hear from the locals.
The whole neighborhood is just sick of people coming into the neighborhood and acting like they can just come ravage your stores, take what they want to take, and then they try to make you feel like you're wrong for defending your property.
Yeah, that's Democrats for you. That's was it Ralph Coates? Ralph Coates. He's the city fashion store manager. Black, by the way. He doesn't think it's racist to end crime. Weird. I thought we were told that if we're looking for law and order, that's a racist thing. It's a racist. No, it's not. It's just a human thing to want law and order in your cities. That Foot Locker was raided. Couple of different news stories covering what happened there. And again, it's a tale as old as time in Chicago. Mob of youths run through a door, take everything they want.
I'm shocked and I'm disappointed at the same time because this neighborhood used to be a very good neighborhood.
It happened around 6 o'clock Sunday morning at the store in the Lake Meadow Shopping Center, located near 35th and King Drive in Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood on the city's south side. Criminals targeted the same store around the same time last year.
Oh, weird. So it hasn't gotten better. And again, it always happens in the south side or the west side of Chicago. You wouldn't need to deploy the National Guard into all of Chicago to fix this. Just the high crime areas. That's what they'll call racist, even though the residents that you'd be protecting would be black and brown residents. You know, this is the reality of the situation. And it's gotten so bad that people, they're not even really shocked by it anymore. There's another clip going. I mean, I could do this all day. There's another clip going around. This woman reacting to a double fatal shooting just blocks from her home in Chicago. And while she says it's jarring, she seems very calm while she's relaying what happened and what she witnessed.
I don't live far from here. I could walk here from my own home. It's very jarring. And, you know, this is becoming way too normal in this city. And while some of the stats are down, that doesn't matter when two people were killed next door to you.
Yeah, and we also know they're probably cooking the books. But she just sounds like, yeah, dude, listen, this is what we're dealing with. A couple blocks away, double homicide. You know, she seems like she's seen this so many times before that this doesn't even... She said it's jarring, but she doesn't seem very jarred. Does she seem jarred to you? She doesn't seem jarred.
Not very jarred.
It was a lack of jarred. Lack of jarred?
Lack of jarred, I think, is good. That's right.
There was a lack of jarred. That's just 100%. She'd seen that. She'd
too
seen
much
that
jelly because there's a lack of jarred here.
Yeah, there's just a lack of jarred. But Trump isn't just looking at Chicago. Trump is also going after keeping his eyes on Baltimore. He's been going after Wes Moore pretty heavily on social media. Post Millennial has this story. President Donald Trump has called for Maryland Governor Wes Moore to clean up the out-of-control, crime-ridden city of Baltimore, coming after the Maryland Democrat urged the president participate in a public safety walk in the city in September. Maryland and Baltimore in particular has been terrible for a while, a long time. Again, all of these cities have. These aren't new problems. These are old problems. Donald Trump on True Social. Governor Wes Moore of Maryland has asked in a rather nasty and provocative tone that I walk the streets of Maryland with him. I assume he's talking about the out-of-control, crime-ridden Baltimore. As president, I would much prefer that he clean up the crime disaster before I go there for a walk. Wes Moore's record on crime is a very bad one, unless he fudges his figures on crime like many of the other blue states are doing. But if Wes Moore needs help, like Gavin Newsom did in L.A., I will send in the troops, which is being done in nearby D.C., and quickly clean up the crime. After only 1 week, there's no crime and murder in D.C. When it is like that in Baltimore, I will proudly walk the streets with the failing, because of the crime, governor of Maryland. P.S. Baltimore is ranked 4th worst city in the nation in crime and murder. Stop talking and get to work, Wes. I'll see you on the streets. Also, I gave Wes Moore a lot of money to fix his demolished bridge. I will now have to rethink that decision, he concluded, referring to the Francis Key Scott Bridge that was destroyed. Was that late 2024 when that boat crashed into it?
Yeah.
They ever figure out what happened with that?
No, but let me. I think they did, but I don't think we caught it. Let me check on it real quick.
That was suspect, wasn't it? It's pretty sus.
Oh, for sure.
It was pretty sus. Moore responded to Trump, writing a letter saying he wants to clarify the root of his frustration and extend an invitation for you to visit Maryland, where we can discuss strategies for effective public safety policy. How about this? Enforce the laws on the books. Done. I mean, that was a quick meeting. It's a quick meeting, sir. It's weird how quickly you can get that done. Isn't that weird? It's not just Baltimore. It's not just Chicago. There are cities on the West Coast as well that are just bananas.
Real quick before you move on from Baltimore, I just wanted to recap the end of that real quick. Lost power and control somehow.
Yeah, somehow.
And veered off track.
That's the part that I think is sus.
Yeah.
Definitely nobody got hacked.
Yeah, definitely didn't happen.
Don't ask that question. No. Memory hole. Quick, just memory hole this.
Hold on, let's go. Okay.
What were we talking about?
Huh?
Oakland, California is another city with crime issues, and Oakland had a youth takeover. 500 plus youths is how they're describing it. Youths. Have you seen these street takeovers? where they
the
do the donuts in the streets, and there's like a huge circle at a 4-way intersection.
Yeah.
Well, the 500 kids, youth takeover. People are always getting hit by cars on these. Do you see the viral videos? Like, not one of these street takeovers happens without somebody getting clipped by a car. And that's a best case scenario. But let's listen to the local Fox affiliate on the youth takeovers in Oakland. Fireworks, donuts.
Drivers were spinning around, eventually actually destroying a car and then setting it on fire. This was all happening around 4 o'clock this morning. Police have not released any specific information here.
How much money you want to bet that car was stolen?
Yeah, I was about to say, where'd they get the vehicle?
They found it. They found it.
I don't think you just find vehicles around.
I've heard if you get a pair of keys and you put them under your pillow at night, the car ferry will put that make and model in your driveway in the morning. Only in blue cities. I think that's what happens.
But the Oakland Police Officers Association did release a statement saying only 16 police vehicles were available to respond when there were 500 participants. The POA is asking neighbors to demand the city council and mayor hire more officers and retain the ones they have right now.
You know, if I was them, maybe I'd ask for some certain intervention from the governor from the National Guard, right? Wouldn't you? If you can't fill the jobs, you don't have the money to do it, you got to get the city under control. Wouldn't you ask the governor for help? But the governor looks at you of California. He says, please, I'm running for president. Don't bother me. That's what he says. Not right now. Not right now. Gavin 2028. That's what he says. No. The governor's not coming to help you. None of these Democrat politicians are coming to help you. This is the reality of blue cities.
And a similar scene played out in Richmond early this morning. Hundreds of people took over the intersection right there at 23rd and Barrett Avenue. Crowds gathered for another sideshow near Hensley and Richmond Parkway. So far, no word of any arrests.
No word of any arrests. I love how he says it's a little sideshow. It's a little fun. A little fun. It's insane. I saw one. It was a street takeover in broad daylight in California. And they opened all the fire hydrants. Yep. In the state where they can't keep water in the fire hydrants.
I was about to say, doesn't that stuff disappear pretty quickly?
And they'll say, no arrest made. No arrest made.
Any arrests?
No, none. No arrests.
Makes sense.
But you know what the DNC will do? They won't acknowledge the crime in their cities. But when they get together for their big summer meetings, they will acknowledge that they're on stolen land.
From the Saginaw Ojibwe Nation, and she's going to deliver our land acknowledgement today. Lindy?
Yeah. This is why the Democrat Party is losing so much support. They are completely out of touch with the problems of real Americans, and they're spending time at their summer meetings for a land acknowledgement. Yep. This is when they acknowledge that we're on stolen land. Side note, I'm going to have to do a new intro for the show because I want to work in a land acknowledgement into the beginning of every show. So we get a member of a Native American tribe come up, and I don't think she's Native American, do you?
I don't know.
She looks white.
I mean, I look white.
It's true.
But I'm Native American.
Are you?
I am. We get messages from the reservation every month.
Really?
Yep. It's kind of cool.
Do you get checks in the mail?
My grandmother used to. That's the blood percentage and all that stuff.
You're not Native American enough.
Not enough. I don't get my check from the casinos as often, but
have you tried opening up with a land acknowledgement?
I
have not.
Good morning, DNC members, friends, and relatives. Let's talk about the land for a second.
She got so excited. Did you see her on the video?
She's really
Let's talk about the land.
Ooh.
Let's talk about the land. Let's talk about it.
The DNC acknowledges and honors the Dakota Oyate, the Dakota people, who are the original stewards of the lands and waters of Minneapolis. The Dakota cared for the lands, lakes, and the Wakatonka, the Great River, the Mississippi River, for thousands of years before colonization. This land was not claimed or traded. It's a part of a history of broken treaties and promises. And in many ways, we still live in a system built to suppress Indigenous peoples' cultural and spiritual history.
All right, yeah, you can just play the curb music, I guess.
Yeah, hold on.
I don't know.
Have her start talking again.
I don't know. I don't know what to respond to that. This is
Lands and waters of Minneapolis. The Dakota cared for the lands, lakes, and the Wapatonka, the Great River, the Mississippi River, for thousands of years before colonization. This land was not claimed or traded. It's a part of a history of broken treaties and promises. And in many ways, we still live in a system built to suppress Indigenous peoples' cultural and spiritual history.
It's 1022. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand. We talk about a lot of the violence happening in a lot of these big blue cities. What do you do if you find yourself in that kind of a situation? Well, I'll tell you what you got to do. You got to talk to my friend Brink Fiddler over at Defense Systems because he's going to prepare you for what might happen out there in the real world. Now, the chances are low, but do you want to base everything on hope that it doesn't happen? Or do you want to be prepared? Brink is going to get you prepared. I've taken this training personally, and it's incredible. Real life skills that could literally save someone's life. I hope I never have to use them, but I'm ready if I should. Defense Systems is a life, safety, and security consulting firm that specializes in physical security and active violence mitigation training. They've trained everyone from schools to corporations, healthcare facilities, law firms, even country music tours. Here in Nashville, they trained our entire staff at Cumulus, and it's not just checking the box for safety. It's giving you and your employees life skills that you can use anywhere, even outside of work. How do you stop the bleeding from a bullet hole, depending on where the bullet hole is? This could literally save someone's life, and they've trained over 30 Middle Tennessee schools. Has your child's school had this training? Because active violence events are on the rise, and sometimes these dangers are spilling into everyday places. If you or a loved one were critically injured, would you know what to do? If the answer is no, don't wait until it's too late. Visit defensesystems.com or call 615-236-6484. That's 615-236-6484. That call could save a life.
3 states have not enforced the English-only requirement for truck drivers, and now the Transportation Department is taking action. Also, another weight loss option is getting closer to the market. That and more coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. It is 10:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Donald Trump making a statement yesterday that is turning a lot of heads. Talking about allowing more Chinese students into our universities. Effectively doubling what we have here currently. Like we're hovering right around 300,000 Chinese students in the United States currently in our universities on visas. Trump yesterday saying that, well, you know, those are rookie numbers. We got to get those numbers up. Saying he wants 600,000. Oh, huh.
Like me to come to China. It's a very important relationship. As you know, we're taking a lot of money in from China because of the tariffs and different things, and it's a very important relationship. We're going to get along good with China. I hear so many stories about we're not going to allow their students. We're going to allow their students to come in. We're going to allow. It's very important. 600,000 students. It's very important. But we're going to get along with China. But it's a different relationship that we have now with China. It's a much better relationship economically than it was before. With Biden, boy, what he allowed they just took him to the cleaners. You know.
I mean, that last part's right. But I don't know if we need 600,000 Chinese nationals in our country. 10%, what's that, 60,000? So if 10% are bad actors, that's 60,000. What if 1% are bad actors? You get where I'm going with this. Are we going to be opening the doors for Chinese spies, individuals that are going to steal trade secrets, steal intellectual property? Why on earth would we want to do that? Why would we want to take 600,000 spots away from American students? American students. Now, Howard Lutnick tried to clean it up later on in the day by hopping on Laura Ingram's show, but on Laura Ingram's show, he just made it a little bit worse, I'll be honest with you. Laura Ingram was going in on him, and she's like, man, we're giving so much to these universities, and we're essentially just greenlighting Harvard and Yale and these top universities to keep doing what they're doing because we're going to import a student base for them. I'll bring you those comments when we get back, plus take your calls. What do you think? 600,000 Chinese students. Are you for it or are you against it? 615-737-9986. It's 10:30 on Super Talk.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories happening this morning. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy threatening to pull federal funding for California, Washington State, and New Mexico if they don't enforce the English language proficiency requirement for commercial truck drivers.
We are not going to tolerate states that don't comply with the rules that come from this department.
He wants truck drivers that understand road signs, communicate with law enforcement, and respond to official inquiries.
We are going to give these states 30 days to come into compliance with truck drivers speaking proficiently the English language, or we're going to look at federal funding that they receive under the Motor Carrier Safety Assistance Program.
California stands to lose $30 million, Washington $10 million, and it's $7 million for New Mexico. In Sumner County yesterday, a missing woman who suffers from dementia was found in a wooded area. News 2's Nikel Smith says police called for an assist from a drone team.
Westmoreland Police Department started searching for the woman around 10:30 Monday morning. Officers called in Sumner County EMA teams who launched 2 drones. The woman was found in a wooded area on Bledsoe Street near Harrison Lane.
And she was checked out at the hospital. She's doing okay. Sumner County EMA says those drones have helped to find 18 people since launching the program. There could be another weight loss option on the market. Eli Lilly says it's got new data they're hoping will convince regulators to okay their diabetes pill as a weight loss medication.
Lilly says their diabetes once-a-day pill, orforglipron, leads to weight loss of 23 pounds or 11% of body weight on average for people living with both obesity and type 2 diabetes who took the highest dose over 17 months. This follows recent data published earlier this month showing an average weight loss of 27 pounds or 12.4% of body weight for people with obesity.
ABC's Chuck Sievertson. That is the latest news. We've got your weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Better Water LLC. Love those guys, Patriots, and they want to test your water for free and find out what's in your water. You could have some nasty stuff in your water. This is the water that you're making coffee with in the morning. You're bathing in. You're bathing your kids and your grandkids in this water. Could it have sulfur in it? What about E. coli? What about chlorine, bacteria, nasty stuff? Are you sure? Are you 100% sure you have clean water? Better Water will test your water for free. And if you got clean water, they'll let you know. If you got some nasty stuff in there, they'll offer a range of options to clean it up for you. Reverse osmosis, specialized filters, UV lights. Better Water has you covered. Now, you got to think of it like a giant Brita filter for your entire house, or they could do your office, or they could scale it down for just underneath your sink. They're a local company based out of Smyrna, already treating the water at the hospitals and coffee shops around town. They know what they're doing. Stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Give them a call today. 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063, or find them online. BetterWater.com. It's 1036, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hope you're doing well. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. Shout out to the FM dial. That's what I like. That's what I like. You can also watch the show YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Hit like, hit subscribe. All the online platforms have a share button, and we encourage you to do that. Share the show with your friends and let them know you're listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We appreciate you growing the digital footprint of the radio station. Thank you. We appreciate it. So, Laura Ingraham was grilling Howard Lutnick last night because of the comments that Donald Trump made inside the Oval Office yesterday during his meeting with the South Korean president.
To come to China, it's a very important relationship. As you know, we're taking a lot of money in from China because of the tariffs and different things, and it's a very important relationship. We're going to get along good with China. I hear so many stories about we're not going to allow their students. We're going to allow their students to come in. We're going to allow. It's very important. 600,000 students.
600,000 students. That now, again, more than 500,000 spots taken away from American students. Americans. Are you okay with that? 615-737-9986. I feel like a lot of this, a lot of the fight has been for Americans and America first. But you hear all this stuff, and it's like, this isn't America first. H-1B visas aren't America first. 600,000 Chinese students coming in and taking spots away from your kids and grandkids is not America first. I'm sorry. It's not. Plus, are we just educating our enemy? China has good universities. Educate yourselves over there. Please. We have not been tough on China. And I understand that you're walking a tightrope. You're walking a tightrope. Until we reshore some of this manufacturing, some of these critical goods, until we get ourselves in a stronger spot, I understand. You have to walk that tightrope. But 600,000 Chinese students seems like you're selling the farm. It does. Laura Ingraham was not happy with those comments. Now, I do want to say this. Maybe Donald Trump was doing a little bit of the salty and a little bit of the sweet, because during that same meeting with the South Korean president, and then we'll get to Laura Ingraham's comments, Donald Trump essentially threatened to destroy China. Like low-key, if you blinked, you missed it. But he said something that I caught, and I'm sure you caught as well. But this is him low-key threatening China.
We're going to have a great relationship with China. I mean, it's happening. You see it. It's happening. They have some cards. We have incredible cards, but I don't want to play those cards. If I played those cards, that would destroy China. I'm not going to play those cards.
Ooh. All right. He's not going to play those cards. But he's okay with allowing 600,000 Chinese students into the country. Okay. While birthright citizenship is still going on. You know, there was that story in California, this like crazy couple were going through surrogates. They were a Chinese couple and then sending the kids back to China. And I thought to myself, like, your birthright citizenship locking these kids in to be Chinese spies with American citizenship. That's how I looked at the story. Now, I could be wrong. But I look at the 600,000 Chinese students coming in, and I think the exact same thing. I do. It's hard for me not to, especially with a country that was operating secret police stations and secret biolabs within our borders. From a nation that's buying up farmland near our military bases, I'm a little bit suspicious. Laura Ingraham was not pleased at all with that statement from Donald Trump. She was, I wouldn't say downright pissed, but she wasn't having any of it. And Howard Lutnick came on her show, and Howard Lutnick got the brunt of her frustration when it came to the 600,000 Chinese students. And Laura Ingraham called it out to his face, saying, with all due respect, sir, how is this America first?
With all due respect, how is allowing 600,000 students from the communist country of China putting America first?
Short answer, it's not. It's not. And Howard Lutnick knows that.
Well, the president's point of view is that what would happen if you didn't have those 600,000 students is that you'd empty them from the top, all the students would go up to better schools, and the bottom 15% of universities and colleges would go out of business in America.
That's a weird statement. So those 600,000 Chinese students are going to be coming in at the top, and they're better than American students. Got it. Got it. So you heard Howard Lutnick admit on TV that those 600,000 Chinese students are keeping American kids out of the best universities. Now, listen, I think that there are a lot of options if you want to be successful in America. It's one of the greatest things about this country. You don't have to go to college. I didn't. And I've talked to my boys and my girls, and listen, I don't know if college is going to be right for them. It might. Every kid's going to be different, and depending on what field you want to go into, you might need that 4-year degree. And if you do need that 4-year degree for the field you're going into, well, now you're competing against 600,000 Chinese students. And Howard Lutnick says, well, you're not going to get into the top universities because those 600,000 Chinese students are. And if we got rid of those 600,000 Chinese students, the bottom 15% of universities would cease to exist because all the kids that are being held back by these foreign students would get into the good universities. Am I reading too much into that? Because that's how I heard it.
All the students would go up to better schools, and the bottom 15% of universities and colleges would go out of business in America.
That's kind of how I heard it.
So his view is he's taking a rational economic view, which is classic Donald Trump, looking at higher education and saying,
but why are you
until
helping
we
Harvard?
modify that.
That just
What's
helps
that?
Harvard and UCLA and UCal Berkeley and I mean you're all helping those schools. Why? They're
Those liberal indoctrination centers. Yep, you are. You are, and you're holding back American kids.
like basically factories of anti-American propaganda. And now they're getting a big influx of cash because of the Chinese students. I know President Trump has always been very pro-Chinese student. I just don't understand it for the life of me. Those are 600,000 spots that American kids won't get.
She's absolutely right. And that you can make the argument that it's wrong that it's China, but I think 600,000 students coming from any country is a bit of an issue. It's a bit of an issue. Those spots belong to American kids.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm involved in. I'm involved in changing the H-1B program, right? We're going to change that program. Because that's terrible, right? We're going to change the green card. You know, we give green cards. The average American makes $75,000 a year, and the average green card recipient, $66,000. So we're taking the bottom quartile. Right. Like, why are we doing that? That's why Donald Trump is going to change it. That's the gold card that's coming. And that's we're going to start picking the best people to come into this country. It's time for that to change.
I don't often hear Howard Lutnick a bit flummoxed. I don't hear him tripping over his words very often. But when Laura Ingraham pressed him on the 600,000 Chinese students, he stumbled a bit. He stumbled, and then he haphazardly pivoted out into the H-1B visas. It wasn't a good pivot. It wasn't smooth. It wasn't smooth at all. But this is the current state of American education. Either your kids go get indoctrinated, or the Chinese, they get their communist values. But either way, American kids are losing. It's just, the whole thing's a mess. I'm not a huge fan of college. Definitely not a fan of our kids being held back for foreigners. And you worry that you're going to hit foreigner fatigue in this country. We were talking about 55 million visas, 30 million illegal aliens. That's what, 1 out of every 4 people in this country, not from this country. What does that do to our infrastructure? What does that do to our hospitals? What does that do to our schools? We're watching it in real time. Howard Lutnick laying it down. Well, listen, those 600,000 Chinese students, they're getting at the top universities. And if they weren't here, the American kids who are forced down would move up. Oh, that's kind of what we're looking for, actually. That's weird. That's weird. I hear your terms, and I accept them, actually. Yeah, perfect. Thanks. So what do you think about that? 615-737-9986. Steve in Spring Hill on Chinese students. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Chris. How you doing, bud?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I really like what you're saying, although there are a couple of points that I wanted to make.
By all means.
I think that one thing, first thing Trump sees, of course, is the dollar signs.
Yep.
These people won't be taking loans. These people, if they have the merit and can get into these colleges, I think it kind of makes sense.
But on the merit front, there's a huge aspect of allegiance. right? Like, and stealing trade secrets, stealing intellectual property, learning the American culture from the inside out, and then becoming weaponized against it later in life. Is that not a fear for you?
That's fair. I mean, I think that's a very good point. But I also think with a lot of the crap that they're teaching our kids, let the Chinese come in and learn that underwater basket weaving and some of the woke ideologies. If that's not changing,
I mean, but while that's happening with American kids, that's not going to happen with the Tiger Moms and their kids out of China. It's just not going to.
Yeah, I hear that.
They're going to take the spots at medical school. They're going to take the engineering spots. They're going to take the STEM gigs. Like they're not focused on underwater basket weaving.
Fair. No, I understand. And I would also think that this is Trump is a master negotiator, and I would see this as one of the chips that he would be using to increase relations with China. I'm going to let your students come over here and learn us, of course, make a ton of money for the schools. But again, just as one of the chips towards trying to better our relationships. That's just my thought, my opinion on that. Again, as he needs to, of course, increase and better the relationships with China. I would think that this is just a small token.
But at what cost?
Yeah, I know. Like I said from the start, I appreciate what you're saying about letting
the flip side. The flip side is they have good universities in China, right? If we're going to allow, if we're currently we got like 300,000 ish. I've heard like 280 to 320. If we're going to go to 600,000, do you know how many Americans were enrolled in Chinese universities in 2023, 2024?
Probably zero.
800.
Wow.
800.
Yeah, I mean, that should get better.
If they want it to be a fair trade, like, oh, you take 200,000 students, we'll take 200,000 students. Like, okay, well, then that's negotiating. But the way I look at it right now is you're letting the enemy embed amongst you.
I hear that, and I appreciate. Yeah, I just those are a couple of my thoughts. Let's make that money for the universities. And again, I don't know if I would if it were me, 600,000 is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I don't know, man, chasing short money always scares me, Steve. I appreciate the call, though, and I appreciate your opinion. Jerry in Hickman County on the Chinese students. What's up, Jerry?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm an educator. Thanks, Chris, for having me on.
Absolutely.
I'm an educator, and I've been a foreign student myself, overseas, different places, different countries. Hey, China's got these things that are opening up on our campuses called Confucius societies.
Yep.
And Trump tried to get rid of them in his first term. Biden was fanning the flames, man. China's putting a ton of money into these cultural centers, which are just a way to be moles on our universities, have an ear to the ground. Your leftist educators on our campuses, the commies among them, which is most of them, are taking tremendous amounts of money in the form of grants and other kinds of things that are essentially bribing them to allow Chinese influence, number one. Number two, these colleges and universities realize that fees and tuition for foreign students is huge money. So we've established that they can be bought and paid for. And we've established that a lot of these lefties on campus, shoot, man, they don't have a conscience. If they have a belief system, an overwhelming majority of them are sympathetic to communist China and the communist way of life. That's all I got, man. Trojan horse.
Well, hey, as an educator, if it was up to you, what would you do? Would you just ban them outright?
No, I don't think you can do that. But I think you can certainly look. You know how closely they go over kids here that want to get into those schools?
Yep.
Don't tell me you can't do a certain amount of vetting with those students as well.
Fair enough. Hey, Jerry, I appreciate the call, man. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. On the way, an update on the illegal alien trucker. He's getting a lot of support. A petition going around with 2.5 million signatures for this guy. He's getting support from Indian government officials and more. But the U.S. government is not backing down. Secretary Duffy making some statements earlier today as well. We'll bring you the latest right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Make sure you listen to all the episodes of Mostly Peaceful. They're on demand everywhere. We love them. They're anecdotally the best episodes that me and Dan have ever done together. So there's that. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. If you're tired of back pain, neck pain, knee pain ruining your life, then listen up, because this is going to change everything for you, and it's not going to break the bank. It's called the BDT, the Big Daddy Trump Special. It's just $12 from the Wellness Institute. It's going to get you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment for only $12. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, they're the best, and they're going to fix your pain for good. And they're not going to use surgery. They're not going to use injections, and they're not going to prescribe you some painkillers. What they are going to do is they're going to take your back pain, your neck pain, your sciatica, your numbness, your bulging discs. They'll treat it all with non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. The time is now to grab your MRI and get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it. Call the Wellness Institute of Nashville today, 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009, or find them online, painisbad.com. If you didn't have the gig that you have and you're not at the White House, you're not the reporter, would you raise a family in that area?
Absolutely not.
And either they're going to straighten their act out in the terms of government and in terms of protection, or we're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run.
It's brutal out here. It can be really, really tough. I don't live in D.C. proper anymore because it's just gotten kind of out of control. It's gotten dirtier, it's gotten more crowded, and a lot more violence, as you just alluded to. But my first year living here, I was seeing a lot of that, and it grew very quickly. So I moved here, I would say, in 2023. By the time I moved out after a year, it got really crowded. It got really messy. I remember getting emails from my apartment complex saying that there was a shooting just across the street, and it was maybe every other weekend. And I was saying, what decision did I make to even live here? I mean, obviously close proximity to the White House, which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
But wow, what a difference a year makes under, a leadership that doesn't really care that much about crime.
All right, drivers in Rutherford County got a crash blocking the left lane of 840 eastbound right before I-24. Then in Antioch, right shoulder blocked by a crash 24 westbound before Hickory Hollow Parkway. And a new report on consumer confidence is out. I'll tell you about that more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. It's 10:57. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, we got a friend in the chat. We always get the liberals driving by in the chat, but then I invite them to call into the show. And they never want to call into the show. And I said, call in.
Yeah, they suddenly go quiet.
I just wish.
This is a safe space.
Yeah, call in. I like different opinions.
You do.
I'm not going to yell at you. Let's just talk. But he was accusing me of, he was saying that my orange messiah has let me down with the 600,000 Chinese students. Call in.
Yeah, one of his comments earlier said, sorry. He said, your orange marmalade president is letting 600,000 that could be your kid's future spot in.
Yeah.
I just love the orange marmalade president. It's funny to me.
Real Lady Marmalade. All right, so, but here's the thing. Nothing's official yet. He threw that out at a press conference, and people are pushing back against it, and I don't think that I don't think it'll get there.
He's floating it.
He's floating it. But when you dive into the numbers that we have currently, that's way too high already. If we're around 300,000, that's 300,000 spots for American kids. I have an issue with that. And also, furthermore, if anybody should be allowed to criticize President Trump, it's his biggest supporters. If we don't do it, then who will? Right? Like, not everything is going to be perfect. I made the comment earlier in the show. Only one guy has ever walked on this earth and was perfect. Only one. Maybe you've heard of him. It's not Trump. Certainly not me. It's definitely not you. Only one guy. So he's going to make errors. He's going to make mistakes. And he's going to say some dumb things sometimes. We signed up for that. That's what we signed up for. But we got to push back when we don't like what he's saying. We do. That's on all of us. We got to get loud and we got to push back. This is one of those things. Nothing's official. There's been no ink to paper. I understand that. But as a thought experiment, I don't see a lot of people that are signing up to have your kids replaced by Chinese foreign nationals at universities. Underwater basket weaving or engineering. Either way, we don't want that as Americans. And we got plenty of kids in this country that can be educated and do great things, should they have the opportunity. But the more foreign nationals you let in, Chinese or not Chinese, the less opportunities those American kids have. That's not America first. It's just not. And that criticism that Donald Trump is receiving on that comment, well, he's right to receive it. It's just the reality of the situation. That doesn't mean I don't support the guy. That doesn't mean that we're not witnessing the biggest upgrade in American history. But when he goes off the rails a little bit, we got to be there as his supporters to say, that ain't it, man. That ain't it. On the way, an update on the trucking situation and why Canada is entering the chat when it comes to danger on our roadways. All that and more. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Channel 4 says a body's been found in Clarksville. It's in a field off of Dunlop Lane. We'll have to get you some info on that. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. A new report from the Conference Board finds consumer confidence for the month of August declined. Here's ABC's Mike Dabusky.
In addition to the Consumer Confidence Index, the Conference Board also measures Americans' short-term expectations for their economic standing, what they're expecting their income, business, and the job market to do in the coming months. The Expectations Index for August fell by 1.2 points, putting the final score the board gives Americans' expectations just below 75. That is significantly below the 80-point figure that economists say could signal a recession. Mike Dabusky, ABC News.
Yeah, the Conference Board, which publishes the Consumer Confidence Index, also measures how Americans are feeling about their current personal economic situation. That was down modestly as well. Maybe Cracker Barrel should have known better. A marketing expert weighs in on the outrage over the new logo. Here's Sherry Preston.
Business strategist Kathleen Griffin says she's not surprised by the outcry over the Cracker Barrel logo change.
A brand can absolutely go too far in trying to become relevant. A lot of times they're trying to go to a hip, young branding agency, and so they'll go to something that ends up feeling really generic, almost soulless.
The country practically erupted at the new, more generic logo that gets rid of the old man playing checkers on the Cracker Barrel and eliminated the phrase Old Country Store. Cracker Barrel says it could have done a better job with the logo rollout. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Well, the TSA is opening up an option for families with small children. It's called the Family Lane, and it's aimed to make security lines for everyone more streamlined. ABC's Gio Benitez is at Tampa International Airport, on which airports have the option for now.
Here in Florida, you have Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville. In California, you have John Wayne, Honolulu, Charlotte, Charleston in the Carolinas. You have Will Rogers in Oklahoma, Salt Lake City, San Juan, and in Rhode Island, you have TF Green. The TSA wants to bring this to other airports. We just don't have a timeline on that just yet.
And with yet another judge's ruling, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is allowed to stay in the U.S. The Department of Homeland Security releasing a video last night showing him in handcuffs and vowing that he will be removed.
Abrego Garcia spent the night at an immigration detention center in Virginia after a judge ruled the government is absolutely forbidden from deporting him to Uganda or anywhere else, at least for now. He was arrested when he appeared for an immigration appointment in Baltimore yesterday, 3 days after being released from federal custody and reuniting with his family.
That's ABC's Christiane Cordero. And the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We're going to switch gears. We're going to talk about this trucking situation. And I want my truckers to weigh in on this. I know we have a large trucking audience. Anecdotally speaking, I'm the number one show for truckers in Middle Tennessee. Just letting you know. We have a lot of anecdotal evidence to support that. A lot. So I want to know what my truckers think. There's a lot of movement happening with this case that happened in Florida where the illegal alien did a U-turn across 3 lanes of traffic to cut through one of those middle emergency vehicle only cut-throughs in the median of the highway, killing a family in Florida. Florida is not backing down. They're stepping up, and Florida trucking and weigh stations are actually now going to be immigration's checkpoints for illegal aliens. This is a really great development and something that I think should be replicated throughout the country. This is what Florida's doing.
But today, Florida's Attorney General is going to announce that all the trucking weigh stations in the state of Florida will now serve as immigration checkpoints.
Great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And by the way, I also think we should find out who gave him his road test, who green-lighted it, what company insured him, what company hired him, and all those companies pay the price. That's the only thing you got to do. You got to destroy the companies that are putting our lives at risk.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a lot of these companies are fly-by-night, and if you trace the addresses back, it's like a one-bedroom apartment, and it'll get shut down, and then they'll open up at a different address. You'll see trucking companies that are all registered to the same address. A lot of crazy stuff. But the trucking battle continues, and I want to know what my truckers think when it comes to this latest development. What do we do about Canada? Specifically, Ontario. The U.S. has suspended issuing trucking licenses to foreign drivers. But the next stop for those foreign drivers is going to be Ontario, where the Minister of Transportation is Calistani. Under his watch, many are alleging that we're going to see more unqualified foreigners obtaining licenses in Ontario and then driving them into the United States, saying these unqualified drivers are then compromised by the fact that their employers hold permanent residency over their heads, deciding whether they can stay in Canada or not, which then will make them vulnerable to exploitation, forced to work for lower wages, drive unsafe equipment without proper maintenance, and in some cases, even be drug mules for fentanyl, cocaine, and other contraband as they move across the border. Is Canada going to become an issue? And if you're a trucker, what have you seen when it comes to Canadian drivers? And how would you deal with Canadian drivers? What would you do if you were the policymaker? If you could wave a magic wand and fix this, what would you do? This is a question that we got to ask because, I mean, it's right over the border. It's in the 51st state. And you see horror stories. Charlie Kirk posted one on his Twitter account the other day. Immigrant truck driver in Canada plowed through a stop sign, hit a bus, killed 16 people. He only served 6 years in prison. And after getting out, he's fighting against his deportation. He's still in Canada, actually, still in Canada. And he's got, as Charlie puts it, an entire army of Canadian liberals ready to defend him. So are we going to just essentially take the problem that we have in America and turn it into a problem with Canadian drivers? And how do we fix that? Let's start with Terry in the borough, who's been trucking for 30 years, 3 decades. Terry, you got some experience on you, man.
Yeah, 46 total. But I was in all aspects of the trucking industry, from dock to yard to road to city. Then I went into onboarding, which is processing new hires, and then I went into training, and I was an area safety manager. So yeah, I've been around.
Well, I like that you got some onboarding experience, because that's kind of like what we're talking about here with the new truckers that are coming in, the imported truckers. What's your instant take?
The instant take on that is we need butts to fill seats. That's the take. I can get into a long, drawn-out thing, and try to sound smart about it. Basically, the companies need butts in seats, and they don't care how they get them. All right? That's the thing, because the industry has done a flip in the last 20, 25 years, and people don't want to do this kind of work anymore, so they have to go with what's left.
Why don't they want to do the work? Are the wages too low?
Depending on who you drive for and what you do, there's many different aspects of the trucking industry, just like there's many different aspects to any other industry. And they all have their, good and bad points about them. But usually you try to go where the money's at, but you have to get experience to get the money, and companies can't wait, so they have to put people on, to get them that experience. That's where we're at with that right now.
So there's just no American. You're under the impression that there's no Americans that are going to be able to fill those seats. We have to go to foreign labor.
Well, no, they can fill the seats. They just don't want to do what's required. I mean, it's a lot of...
The trucking companies don't want to do what's required.
Well, the drivers don't. I mean, the employees don't want to do what's required. Be gone from home for weeks at a time, get, bare minimum wages. I mean, you look at the hours that you put into it, 80 plus, 90 plus, and that's if you're doing it legal.
Well, so that kind of goes back to my thing, which I said, the wages are too low. The wages are too low, so you have to import somebody that will take those lower wages.
Yeah, but do you want to pay for that? Because that's going to instantly go into the consumers. They're going to have to pay for that. The companies, the industry, the economy is not going to pay for it. The consumers are going to pay for it. Do you want to pay for that? That's the problem, and that's why so many of them are going to rails now and putting everything on the railroad. They're going the cheapest routes possible to move goods and services, and that's where we're at with that right now.
At what point is it not okay to say, well, this is the cheaper option, but it's the less safe option, and are we already there?
Oh, we've been there. I mean, I remember back 20 years ago, we were having problems with Mexican drivers coming over the border, and they didn't even have licenses half the time, and they would come across the borders with ragged equipment, equipment that we would be shut down for. They would allow them to come into the United States and go through the United States like that. We've had this problem.
As the crackdown on foreign drivers commences in the United States, are you worried to see an uptick in that from Mexico and from Canada?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
How do we solve that problem?
But I think you go back to the DOT and the hours of service and redo the whole thing, completely redo the whole thing, and make it more attractive for people to get into that kind of work, and still allow for them to be able to come home and have some kind of decent home life and raise a family. You're just going to have to completely whitewash the whole thing.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate the call, Terry. Thanks so much, man. Let's go to Brian on the road, also a trucker. What's up, Brian?
Well, I'm a trucker, but I'm not a long hauler, and I'm not a long term guy. But I'm out here with them. I'm out here right now with them. And I see more, and I hate to say this, they're foreign, but they can't drive. There goes one right now. I mean, he is flying, and he's cutting people off. And, I mean, these guys are, they're not vetted. I agree with the last guy. That guy knew his stuff. We take anybody to fill a seat, and you're right on it. If you're not going to pay somebody to do the job, just like Cracker Barrel, they're going to change their name and spend millions, who knows how much, billions maybe, but they won't pay people. Yeah. People are not going to do the job. And he mentioned a work balance, lifestyle. Well, when you're a trucker, I work with guys who are driving for us now, and they were long haul for 30 years. So I listen to them a lot about what they say, and I see what I see on the road, just like anybody else. And I have to disagree with a lot of people about the guy where the van run into him. He's doing a illegal U-turn.
Yep.
I've seen that a bunch of times, and I hate to say this. This is going to come across as crass and uncaring, but they weren't paying it. Whoever's driving that van wasn't paying attention. It happens every day out here. As much as I drive in a week, it happens every day where people do stupid stuff, and you're like, "What? No, did you not see me?" A lady almost ran me into a telephone pole yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time blaming the family for an illegal alien doing a U-turn across a highway.
I'm not blaming them. Listen, I'm not blaming them. But that dude was doing something wrong, and he got caught in it in a bad situation because somebody died. What would have happened if the van would have slowed down and everybody went around him and he made the U-turn? Nothing. but he'd still be out there causing trouble and havoc because he
Fair
doesn't
enough.
speak
I
the
mean,
language.
The same guy. And I appreciate the call, Brian. There's a bridge that he had driven over a few years back, early 2020s or right before the pandemic. I can't remember the exact year, but it was like a 6-ton weight limit, and he completely collapsed the bridge with his truck. Same guy. Steven, on the road, your thoughts?
Hey, Chris, man. Just want to say, yeah, my heart goes out to that family in that van. And they really didn't have enough time to react to that. They wasn't expecting that driver to do that. But, you know, most of the companies have been changing. They're going through changes right now, the mega carriers. And it's just like places like California that are the problem. And down in Texas, there's a bunch of smaller companies that are the problem. The bigger companies are trying to fix the problem, but I'll tell you what the problem is. So this is what I've seen and what I've noticed and what's going on out here. You got company drivers, and you have a big part of truck drivers that are owner-operators. And some of these owner-operators have came over here from the Middle East and from Somalia and Africa and South America and all over the world. A lot of Jewish companies, things like that. But your owner-operators can come over here. They can come over here with money or either get loans and get money, and they can get a truck or two, and they can get a couple years experience in. And then what they do is they start bringing their buddies and stuff from these other countries over here. They bring them in. They'll have 2 or 3 trucks, and they'll put them on a 2 weeks crash course. They don't even speak English. Like the guy that they caught. This is a prime example.
Yep.
India does it too. They don't even speak English, and they take them around. They give them a 2 weeks crash course. They teach them how to cheat to go to the DMV and pass the test because there's only so many questions on that test. So they give them like a cheat course. They teach them how to pass that test. Not even speaking English, you shouldn't even be able to get a CDL. You shouldn't even get a license, period. But that's what's going on, man. And once you're an owner-operator and you have 2 or 3 trucks, you can do that, and you can put anybody in behind the wheel.
That's crazy. Well, I appreciate the insight, and I appreciate the call, Steve. Let's go to Amy in the borough. What's up, Amy?
Hey, Chris. So I have 4 brothers that are truck drivers. All 4 of them are long haul. Some of them do the super wide loads, hauling heavy equipment. My husband holds a CDL. He drove a truck for 10 years, but he's a mechanic. One of the big things is we have got to overhaul our DOT. Our folks that drive, they don't get overtime. Most of them either make a minuscule wage for all the time they're on the road. They do not make anything after 40 hours like the average person. Our DOT and any of our logistics people are really disenfranchised by how the DOT is set up. Another aspect is we do not do enough DOT inspections on these trucks. My husband sees them on the daily. He just left a large Tennessee-based transportation company that hauled packages.
Okay.
And they frequently, as a matter of fact, he left because they wanted him to do unethical things. They wanted him to pencil in work that had not been done. They wanted him to write off and sign off as a DOT inspector that things had been done that weren't. And that's a frequent occurrence. It's happened with, I would say that many of these truck drivers who are out there have seen how their service is not done and how the vehicles are not maintained. We got a lot of junk on the road. Matter of fact, a few minutes ago, just a side note, had to call Nashville 911 because some guy, Middle Eastern, was flipping all over the road. Huge truck, looked to be loaded. He was heavy, and he was flipping all over the road, and he was awake. So I don't know why he was distracted, but he was taking up 3 different lanes of traffic.
That's crazy. How do you fix the industry, Amy?
I think you're going to have a complete DOT, Department of Transportation revision. I think that we're going to have to start with figuring out why this went awry. Why are we not paying the people who are U.S. citizens who would take these jobs if they were livable wages and restructure how trucking is done. We don't need truck drivers hauling from Minnesota to Knoxville. We need them to be basically doing short hauls and be able to be at home at night, get rest, get recovery, but you cannot do that. They can't live on $18, $19 an hour and not get paid for the other 20 hours without overtime.
Yeah, I hear you, Amy, and I appreciate the call. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. We got a lot more on the way, including the news with Ken Weaver. Plus, after the news, it'll be the lightning round. Everybody, we missed the lightning round yesterday. My timing was all off because I missed an hour of the show. Do you know I got a text from somebody who said, you owe us an hour of the show? That's what they said. Said, you owe us an hour after yesterday.
Does that mean Dan gets a break tomorrow?
I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. A lot more on the way. Hang out with us. 1123 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Body found on a concrete pad here in Middle Tennessee. We'll tell you about that. Also, a hit-and-run arrest in Murfreesboro at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Ken, I'm being asked on the text line for an update.
What's that?
Did Fred go missing?
Fred went missing.
Has he been found?
I don't think the little fella's been found yet.
Is Fred the dog?
Fred is not my dog, but he is somebody's little French bulldog, I believe, in my neighborhood, who has not been seen for several days.
Keep your eyes over Fred.
Got to keep an eye out for little Fred.
Would a French bulldog be too big for a hawk?
Not necessarily.
Probably
I
not, but like eagles, we have eagles in the area that'll do it.
So look out for a French bulldog or a very full hawk.
I tell you what I saw on my walk yesterday morning. There was, I don't think it was a hawk, but it was a falcon.
Ooh.
On the ground, or maybe a kestrel, which I think is a type of falcon.
Yeah. In the same family.
It was really weird because he wasn't eating anything. He was just standing on the ground outside somebody's front door.
Interesting. Maybe he was dropping off a package.
Then I thought of Brother Chris Hand.
Hey, anytime you hear an eagle screech in a commercial, just know that's actually a hawk.
That is
the truth.
But then I thought about you talking about how they're watching us.
They are. You know my kids? So my kids went to I don't know if I told you this. I think I've said it on the air, but when they went to D.C. the other week,
yeah,
they're touring all the museums. They went to the Spy Museum, and all of a sudden I get this text from Kennedy. And it's a pigeon with a camera. And she said, I knew you weren't crazy. I'm not.
What are the best things to come out of that trip besides your kid walking around and going, liberal?
Yeah. Brooks was walking around and he was like, Brooks is 7. He was like confronting protesters. He's like, Trump, what's up?
So good.
Yeah, classic. And we gotta. So sorry about Fred.
Yeah, we gotta keep an eye out for little Fred. Little French bulldog. He's a little black French bulldog. He's got some gray whiskers on his chin.
Oh, 3618 with a conspiracy theory. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Hit the X-Files music.
Ready.
3618 says Fred got stolen. French bulldogs are one of the most stolen dogs in America.
They are. Yeah. That would be too bad if that's the case.
Yeah,
little fella.
Who's out there stealing French bulldogs?
You can resell them for a lot of money.
Thousands of dollars, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yes.
We're in the
Full
wrong
breed
industry.
dogs are like, people steal dogs for that reason. It's like,
Really?
hey, I can get $5,000 off this full bred German Shepherd.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't steal a dog. I'd be worried about being bit.
Well,
It's easier to steal a French bulldog than it is like a
German Shepherd.
Yeah, German Shepherd or like a Doberman.
You steal them as puppies. I wouldn't do a full-grown one.
No,
absolutely. Would advise against. Hey, on the way, we got the lightning round lined up for you. It's going to be a doozy. I got some good stuff. I do. An update on Hulk Hogan. This story's been going around, but we gotta talk about it. Oh,
it's off in the distance.
It's off in the distance. Lightning round up next after the headlines with Ken Weaver, which starts right now.
11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. I'm still showing a crash off on the right shoulder, 24 westbound before Hickory Hollow Parkway. So drivers keep that in mind. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Clarksville, a grisly scene where a body was found this morning on a concrete pad in a field off of Dunlop Lane. Officers say it appears to have been there for a while. Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. You can remain anonymous with any information and be instantly eligible for a cash reward. Meanwhile, Channel 4's Holly Thompson tells of a hit-and-run arrest police in Murfreesboro have made.
They say she ran over a woman in a Kroger parking lot Sunday. 44-year-old Heather Keller of Murfreesboro was taken into custody last night. She is now facing a list of charges, including reckless aggravated assault, felony reckless endangerment, and leaving the scene of an accident with injuries. We're told the 55-year-old victim's condition is critical. Keller is being held at the Rutherford County Adult Detention Center on a $28,000 $100,000 bond.
Might be too late if your kids are already back in class, but you might have a chance at salvaging Wake Up if you start now. ABC Sherry Preston with more on what pediatricians say about kids' sleep and the end of summer vacation.
If your kids are back in school already, chances are you might have had a little trouble getting them into and out of bed.
We really have to reset the circadian rhythm. It's so important that we do this gradually and not abruptly.
Pediatrician Dr. Alea Wegman says if your kids have not started yet, you might want to slowly introduce them to an earlier bedtime and an earlier wake-up time, 15 minutes earlier for bedtime, 15 minutes earlier for wake-up, and gradually adjust that to align with your school's start time. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Sounds like a lot of trouble. Get to bed. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, and it is back to school season, and Busy Bee is bringing the buzz with some big savings and sweet giveaways. How about this? If you got septic issues, you can get 15% off right now on any septic work, main drain lines, or whole home repipes just in time for the new school year. You probably should have done it before school started, but hey, save some money now. How about this? Upgrade your HVAC system, and you're going to be automatically entered to win the Healthy Hive giveaway. What is that? Well, that's a $1,500 sponsorship to the local school of your choice. We always hear about teachers coming out of their own pocket for school supplies. Busy Bee says, no, don't do that. Get your AC with us. You could win $1,500 for that local school of your choice. How about this? A gift sweeter than a red apple. According to Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, you buy a Beehive Club membership, you can gift one for free to a local teacher, local teacher, coach, or faculty member at a local school of your choice. Buy one, gift one. It's that simple. All you got to do is get in touch with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. Or find them online, busybeehvac.com. Let's talk about the Democratic frontrunner for mayor of Minneapolis, shall we? His name is Omar Fateh, and he held a big rally in Minneapolis. And I don't know if you can tell by the video, but there's a stunning lack of American flags and a stunning lack of English being spoken at this rally. Now, the reason Omar is the frontrunner is because the last mayor, Jacob Fry, wasn't woke enough.
As for cooperation with ICE, the answer is no.
This is a guy who actually cried at George Floyd's golden casket. Still not woke enough. Now, the uproar online led to some great questions from one Charlie Kirk. I want to know what you think about it in the comments. Charlie says, how are these people bettering America? Does it look like these people in Minneapolis are assimilating to American culture? And then we have to ask a very important question. What is an American? 11:38, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. Now, every day at this time, except for yesterday, we do the critically acclaimed, the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Yeah, we do it every day at this time. We run through all the stories that couldn't fill up a whole segment, all the stories that we didn't have time to get to, anything you want to talk about, any last-minute hot takes, ice-cold takes, 615-737-9986. It's time for the lightning round.
Cheap fakes. Cheap fakes.
You hit the wrong one.
I did. Oh, no.
I feel like, did you do that on purpose?
No.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
All right. First story in the lightning round. We often see with mobs of youth that when something bad's happening, they don't do anything except for pull out their phone and record, right? Like we saw that in Cincinnati when that couple was beaten by the mob. They only had one 911 call in the entire area, but if you looked at the video, you saw all the phones out. All the phones were out. They were just recording video. Well, I found a story, and this is a pretty good story. Group of teens out of Utah. They see a home on fire. They decide not to pull out their phones and start recording for a viral moment on social media. No. They decided to spring into action.
And got going down there, see what we could do.
The flames were spreading.
When we got down there, the propane tanks exploded.
The boys went one house over.
We see a truck in the driveway. We don't see anybody coming out. Somebody could be asleep. Our first thought is, oh, crap, there's somebody in there.
Hey! Looked through the window and saw a dog.
So they did what they say they would want someone to do for them.
We kicked down the door.
Moments later,
kids broke into a house to save people inside.
That's kind of based.
Isn't that based?
That's kind of awesome.
I mean, like, this stuff doesn't get enough play. This stuff doesn't get enough play. We always, the Zoomers, their head buried in their phone. It's like, no, shout out to the Zoomers who just kicked down a door to save the neighbor's dog.
moments later, they bring the two dogs to safety.
Grab the dog.
It was just the dogs in the house. At the other house next door, Jaden Sessions was in his backyard when he heard something weird.
I was just kind of doing random yard work. I heard like a whooshing sound from like the back of their house.
Seconds later, he saw the flames.
I did, run over here and I yelled, fire, fire.
Then Sessions made sure his fiance, dog, and cars were out of harm's way.
I mean, these teens saved everybody. It's like, I do wonder, though, were they just trying to steal the French bulldog? You know what I mean? I think that we all, I feel like that's, you look at these youths.
Just wondering what the resale value is.
Maybe they were wondering if they could resell the dogs. Leave the owners. We'll sell the dogs.
Sell the dogs.
No, that's a good story. That's a good story. I got another good story for you here in the lightning round.
Oh.
Well, you are slow to the draw today, Mason Fleming.
Listen.
No!
All right, next story in the lightning round. You remember DJ Daniel, the young man who had just all sorts of different types of cancer and was honored at the State of the Union or the co-session, the joint session of Congress.
Yeah.
It wasn't an official State of the Union. But he was honored by President Trump and made an honorary Secret Service agent. Remember that story?
Yeah.
Awesome. How about this? His dad has just announced he's running for Congress in Texas. Ooh. And when asked why, he said, because we need more normal people in Congress. And I thought to myself, yeah, we certainly do.
Well, I wanted to get into it because DeVarge's cancer came from the environment, and I just felt like the elected officials at the time failed everyone. They weren't really looking out for the best interests of the people, and I was upset. So that's why I decided to jump in there, because sometimes, we get away from how we came to be. We didn't come together as this great country of ours with career politicians that don't know when to hang up their coat. And it's all about money. So, if you're not going to do the what's in the best interest for the people and more so yourself and your pockets, then you don't need to be there. So, I'm just kind of tired of it. I think we should be able to put people in there from grassroots that's kind of like more like yourself and more common. Yeah. And then we should see some great change.
I'm here for it. Theodis Daniel is his name. That's DJ Daniel's dad, and he's running for Congress in the 18th Congressional District in Texas. Now, this is the only interview that I've seen of him. I don't know many of his policies. I know he's a conservative guy, but something to keep your eye on. And, listen, if you see a guy raising a great kid, they're probably a good person. I mean, just a rule of thumb. If the kids are great, then apples and trees and all those things. Got another story for you in the lightning round. I don't know why, but I saw this online, and as a wrestling fan, I loved it. Hulk Hogan. I don't know if you know this. They're now reporting that his death may be a result of medical malpractice. But I saw the funniest tweet that I've ever seen. During his wrestling career, Hulk Hogan was notorious for having creative control over his character, and he wouldn't lose clean. Meaning, like, he wouldn't just get pinned 1, 2, 3, clean loss. That was something he didn't do. It's not going to work for me, brother. So there'd have to be like some sort of cheating or something like that. He would never put somebody over clean. That's how they would describe it in the wrestling industry. And I saw somebody that posted this story. They said, even in death, Hogan is refusing to put the Grim Reaper over clean because it wasn't the Grim Reaper that took him out. It was the medical malpractice. His wife has been going to all sorts of outlets and saying that there was a surgery that he previously had that compromised his phrenic nerve, which lies in the chest. That's what his widow said, and they're doing an autopsy on the wrestling legend, but they haven't shared those results with reporters. But according to sources familiar with Hogan's death cited by the outlet, TMZ, medical malpractice may have been the cause. Police sources also told TMZ that an occupational therapist was at his home when Hogan stopped breathing. The therapist said of the recent surgery that it's unclear if the operation severed the phrenic nerve. The phrenic nerve is responsible for the movement of the diaphragm, which allows one to breathe. The outlet was told by Hogan's wife that he did not have an episode similar to the symptoms of a heart attack, but that he simply stopped breathing. So even in death, Hulk Hogan won't put the Grim Reaper over clean. I mean, it is heartbreaking, but it's kind of funny at the same time. Is that weird? Like, I don't want Hulk Hogan to be dead, but I think that Hulk Hogan refusing to put the Grim Reaper over clean is classic. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. This one's also wrestling. Did you see what happened over the weekend with Rampage Jackson's kid? Did you see this? Rampage Jackson is a UFC fighter, and his son is clearly pretty trained as well. There was an incident where a professional wrestler by the name of Stuart Smith, known as Psycho Stu, you don't want to mess with Psycho Stu, he got just hammered by the son of Rampage Jackson. This happened again over the weekend. Rampage Jackson's son interrupted a match of the Knox Experience show, which is affiliated with WWE, body slammed the wrestler to the ground. Then he laid on him while he was motionless, and despite being unconscious, repeatedly punched him in the face over and over and over again. It was vicious, absolutely vicious. I'm going to pull the video up so that way you can see it on the stream. I mean, he was just clobbering this guy. Absolutely clobbering him. Rampage has shared a statement in defense of his son. But here, I'm gonna lower the volume because I'm not sure on how safe for work it is. But watch what he does. He just body slams this guy down the ground, boom, and then he's out cold, and then he just starts hammering him left, right, just pummeling him. So this happened over the weekend. The incident is now under police investigation, according to TMZ. Blood was seen dripping from Smith's face after the punches were thrown as he laid motionless in the ring as other wrestlers restrained Jackson from causing more injury. Smith's brother, Andrew Smith, posted to Sunday on Facebook. He's currently in stable but critical care. At this time, we're focused on recovery and appreciate all the support. We do not currently have a GoFundMe set up. Any links posted are not affiliated with us. He was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. On Sunday, he was conscious, but he had broken bones in his face and lost a lot of teeth. And if you're watching on the YouTube stream, you can understand how he lost all those teeth. Crazy story. I bet you he's going to have the pants sued off of him. Rampage Jackson released a statement saying, "I want to clear up misinformation about my son, Raja. I've been confirmed that the wrestler, Stuart Smith, Psycho Stu, is awake and stable. Raja was unexpectedly hit in the side of the head by him moments before Smith's match. Raja was told that he'd get his payback in the ring. I thought it was part of the show. It was bad judgment, a work that went wrong. Raja is an MMA fighter, not a pro wrestler, and had no business involved in an event like this. I don't condone my son's actions at all. He suffered a concussion from sparring only days ago and had no business doing anything remotely close to physical contact. As a father, I'm deeply concerned with his health and the well-being of Mr. Smith. That being said, I'm very upset any of this happened, but my main concern now is that Mr. Smith will make a speedy recovery. I apologize on his behalf and to Kick for the situation. So is Rampage Jackson saying that his son had a concussion and that's what caused him to do this merciless beatdown that he thought was a work? In wrestling terms, a work means that it's fixed behind the scenes. Knocking someone's teeth out, you cross the line from it being a work to it being a shoot. So I hope charges are pressed. I hope this guy has the pantsuit off of him. That kind of stuff shouldn't happen in a ring, but it did. And that wrestler got the break speed off him. Oh my gosh! Wishing him a speedy recovery. That does it for today's edition of the Lightning Round. We'll check in with Chad Benson next. See what's coming up on the Chad Benson Show right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Zero Res. They clean all of my carpets, and when you got 4 kids and 2 dogs, trust me, that is no small hill to climb. I mean, by the end of the summer, my floors were, they were destroyed, and we're going into baseball season now, and guess what? As soon as they get cleaned by Zero Res, they'll be destroyed again. But I always call Zero Res back. Why? Well, because for starters, you can get 3 rooms cleaned in August for just $109. It's a fantastic deal. But secondly, I got 4 little kids and 2 dogs, and what they clean with at Zero Res is top notch. It's their exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue. It means that my carpets and my upholstery are going to hold up, stay clean longer, and look insanely clean. And the kids can sprawl out on the floor, not worry about what's in the fiber, roll around, do all the things, and I got that peace of mind, and it's not breaking the bank. It won't break your bank either. 4,500 Google reviews, giving them a 98% score. You're going to be happy as well. 615-535-9376. 615-535-9376 to book your carpet treatment today, or you can book online, ZeroResNashville.com. People are like, you're a traitor. 11:53, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com.
Are you a traitor?
I'm not. I'm not a traitor for criticizing 600,000 Chinese students.
Absolutely not.
He also didn't sign anything and make anything official. But it drew attention to the number that we have here currently, which is like 280 to 320,000 Chinese students.
And you're going to double that?
Yeah, 300,000 Chinese students is way more than we need already.
And then Lutnick's talking about, well, if it wasn't for these students, these 15% below, down at the bottom would fail. So what?
Well, and what I took away from that clip was he's saying those students are at the top pushing Americans down.
Yeah, that's what it is. And partially because they come here, they pay cash. They pay the full rate. They pay it cash. They pay it up front.
And before anybody says we're racist, it's like Harvard discriminates against Chinese Americans more than anybody else.
Yeah, UCLA, they've all been sued. I mean, UCLA got put through the ringer on umpteen times.
Yeah.
So, let's just all settle down. And again, they're just Americans. They're not Chinese Americans. They're just Americans that happen to be of Chinese descent, and they can't go to school. They got to go to their fallback school.
Yep.
They don't want to go to Boston College.
Nobody does.
Rutgers.
But it's like you get two sides. You get people be like, oh, Trump has a plan. It's 4D chess. And it's like, okay, maybe he's negotiating. He did say if he played his cards, he could destroy China in that same meeting with the South Korean president. And, while he's talking about having 30,000 troops in South Korea, maybe. But if we can't criticize him, who can?
That's what you have to hold them accountable, right? Like you should. And 600,000, even if it's 500,000. I thought the whole point was we're either with China or against China. Because if you're just going to go tariff the hell out of them for the sake of it, because again, we pay the tariffs, then that's a waste of our time. If we're not going to crack down on them, we're already selling them chips through NVIDIA, even though they're second. What are you doing? Well, we're going to get 10 or 15%. I don't care. I thought they were supposed to be essentially our enemy.
They are.
And we're treating them like they're pals.
Well, and do you know how many American students were enrolled in Chinese colleges
Probably
in 2023,
zero.
2024? 800.
800.
So we're effectively educating our enemy.
Yeah. And we're sending them stuff, and we're doing... No, if you're serious about taking them on head on, then go ahead and crush them or stop the talk about it.
Well, it's also like, do we forget about the story that was just a couple weeks ago where like several Chinese national students were arrested for trying to sneak biological material into the United States?
That's right. That was the gardening stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
It was the agriculture.
Agricultural terrorism.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. Either do or don't when it comes to China, because I look at it this way and I'm like, they want to rule the world.
Yep.
And they've made no bones about it. We catch them all the time spying on us. They're always doing something. And we're just like, well, if we play nice. No, screw it. If you think you can crush them, go ahead and crush them.
Yeah. I mean, we're walking a tightrope, though, because of how much we need the manufacturing before we reshore that stuff.
Yeah. But, that's an understatement. Even when you do it, it's still going to hurt. But at some point in time, you tell everybody we need this stuff. You move it to other places. And you got 12 months to do it or else. But this whole we're negotiating with, even if it's 400,000, that's 100,000 more. Like you said, everybody gets knocked down a peg.
Yep. Everybody.
Everybody does.
It's not a good look.
No.
It's not America first.
That is not America first.
And we rail against all the other anti-America first stuff, like the H-1B visas, like the 55 million visas, the 30 million illegal aliens, all of that stuff. It all works together, and it hurts American citizens.
Yeah, and you're somehow, I don't know what this is about. It's interesting.
He does a good job on a lot of things, but I don't know what that was.
And then Lutnick out there trying to pitch it as, this is the greatest. It's not. It's not a good thing.
Lutnick was taken aback by Laura Ingraham, and good for her on holding his feet to the fire on that. He pivoted out of it as quickly as he could. And I've not seen Howard Lutnick tripping over his own words before.
No,
not
it was
in that sense.
A good thing. And she just basically said, come on now. Stop. Don't BS me. Come on.
She had him on his heels.
Yeah.
It was, I don't think she's a great interviewer, but good for her on that one.
She's very feels robotic.
Yeah.
Very robotic. What else did you talk about today? Besides being a traitor.
We talked about stealing French bulldogs. Huge market.
Huge market. Remember they did that? Was it the Gaga? They shot her bulldog walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember that? They almost killed him.
Secondhand puppies.
Huge. Massive.
I get my puppies from the source. I don't
I got to be honest. Nobody's stealing my puppies whatsoever. Actually, one of our dogs is a very very she dog that my wife got. But our other dog, he is, we call him the boat anchor, Bowie. He's not the sharpest. And trust me, if somebody got him, they were like, here, you probably want this.
My dog, Hank, I've always regretted not neutering him, but I had a neighbor who told me that he's going to get depressed if you neuter him. That's what he said. He's like, you're going to get him prosthetics. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. You get prosthetics. He's like, yeah. And I was like, well, no, I'm not going to do that. But now I can't neuter him because I feel bad. But so like the past couple weeks.
Why did you think you were letting him go out on dates and stuff?
I just feel bad. I don't want to do that to the guy. But the past couple weeks, listen, it's gotten really weird. He's like an old man now, but I think he's a sexually frustrated old man. And like that's the only way I can describe my dog. Like he's not like running around humping everything, but like he's just he's just a bit irritable. And I'm like, I said to my wife, I said, you know what I think's going on with him? I think he's getting up there in age. And he's feeling that pull, and I think he's just a little sexually frustrated. She said, "You're on your own with that, Chris."
He doesn't have any babies. He's got nobody to leave his fortune behind.
He's got nothing. Looking behind, he's like, "All of this for what?"
What kind of dog is he?
Chocolate Lab.
Okay,
but he's a tank.
Yeah, you didn't steal him.
No, and good luck trying. He's a horse of a dog. My boys still. I mean, they've been doing this since they were little kids, but now they're about to be 8 on Thursday and 6. They'll get on his back, and the other one will walk down the hall. They'll be like, "Come on, Hank!" And then he gets up and runs, and it's like a rodeo with a chocolate lab. It's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Chad's in next, 12 o'clock. It's Super Talk 99.7 WT.